Aloha, I'm Eric T. Richter, publisher and editor of Maui Vision magazine, and I'm here today with Aaron Pierson in Iao Valley on Maui to introduce him to you. Aaron's an author, healer, and spiritual teacher. Welcome, Aaron.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Aaron, what made you come to Maui? What's the background story?
Well, the background story actually goes back to when I was 18 years old. I was kind of in a place in my life of searching for something. I was drinking a lot, smoking a lot of dope, drugs, and I just kind of started having an awakening. There's got to be something more in life than this. And my mother actually suggested, well, why don't we move to Hawaii together? And I said, sounds wonderful, Mom. And she backed out, and I didn't. And so I sold my car and everything I had already collected and rented a condo not too far from the zoo in Honolulu. Paid for it for 4 months, and then came down, spent the first month just relaxing, playing tennis. But the amazing thing is, from the time I got on the plane in Texas until I landed, by the time I landed in Hawaii, I quit drinking, I quit doing drugs, I quit smoking. I didn't do anything once I got here. I just
So the Hawaii energy kind of created a spiritual cleansing of some sort from addictions for you.
Yeah,
at that point in your life.
And honestly, I never had any struggle with addictions for pretty much anything since.
Wow.
You know, still working a lot on like maybe sweets or food addiction, stuff like that. But as far as drugs or alcohol or anything else, I never really take it or leave it.
Huh. So now presently, you're back on Maui in Hawaii. How did that happen?
Well, when I was here, when I was 18, everybody would say, you need to go to this island, or you need to go here, and the only place I wanted to come is I wanted to come to Maui. But the whole time I was here, the doors never opened. And so it took me exactly 30 years to get back. I was 48. I was 48 or 47, but it was right at 30 years when I got here. I got to the point in about the beginning of 2010 that I knew I was leaving Texas, and that's where I came from. And I was telling my kids that I'm going to be leaving. They're like, "Where are you going?" I said, "All I know is I'm going overseas." And by say July of 2011, I knew that I was coming back to Hawaii, and I booked a room in Queen Kapiolani for 3 weeks. And 5 days short of that, I ended up in Maui.
Wow.
And it just, I guess I've been in 40 different states, and out of all the places I've been on the mainland or in the United States, it's the only place I feel home.
Wow.
And people have told me when I got here, well, Maui either welcome you, or Maui will send you down the road.
That's true.
I felt very welcome here, the whole time. So.
Very good. So you've got an organization that you formed. What exactly is it, and what do you do? What's the name of it, by the way?
It's called Oceans of Spiritual Healing and Enlightenment Institute. And the office and stuff is based out of Texas. And then I've had a vision of doing healing centers and being able to help people open up and find a place in their heart. I grew up with very wealthy parents, and then I had a grandmother who had nothing. And so I got to see both lifestyles and both hearts, both energies. And I've never really been focused on material things or money since. Maybe the Hawaii trip kind of helped with that too. My main focus has been able to help people to see that the only thing that's really going to make you happy is when you come into the center of yourself and you start living from your heart in compassion. In other words, we let go of being so selfish and everything being about me and mine, and me and I, me, mine. And I'm kind of seeing it's not just in the United States, it's that way. I've been in Japan now, I've met a lot of people from the Philippines and, different countries, and it seems like the majority of the human population is educated in that. That it's about what you're supposed to get, gain, and gather in life.
So you're kind of renouncing materialism and embracing your spirituality.
Yeah,
and teaching other people to do the same.
Yeah, I've done the business thing. I've still got several companies back in Texas, which at this point is my main means of support. But I'm kind of come to a place in my life I don't want to do business anymore. I really want to be able to focus on individuals and groups of people, as it opens up, and to help people to shift from that place of looking to the outward world, which where we're at right now is really beautiful. But if you look to the outward only, then you're looking from your ego, and the ego is really bound up itself, and everything's about me. If you can come to that place of your heart and realize that each one of us is just a small piece of humanity, and kind of jump in the ocean. So that's why I kind of chose the name the ocean. And the compassion is like this huge ocean, and once we jump in, we're just one little piece of it.
It's kind of a profound awakening and a beautiful place to live from. So
Yeah.
when did you first discover that you were a healer? What happened?
Well, yeah, honestly, it goes back to when I was a kid. My grandmother was very much a healer, and whenever we got sick, she'd lay her hands on us and, work with us, and I watched her doing it, and just something inside of me innately, I knew that I was able to do the same thing. And I would watch my grandmother. Sometimes she would get sick after she would work on somebody, and I was like, well, okay, Grandma, I see what you're doing, and I know I can do this too, but I'm going to let it go. I don't want
Right.
to take it into myself.
Exactly.
And, so there's a process of learning that goes on there, but
So do you feel like a lot of energy flowing through you when you're doing the healing work, or do you work with your hands much at all?
I don't
Yeah.
honestly do much with my hands anymore with people. I really have learned to just take the energy inside of myself and to be able to connect with the people on a subconscious level. And I've learned that anybody getting healed, a lot of people say, well, I healed so-and-so, and I really don't look at it that way. I've learned that it's a cooperative work between the person that's ill or that needs the healing and me or whoever else is in that position. Because I've learned from my own personal experience, you really can't help anybody to be healed that doesn't want to be healed.
Right,
Or that's not
exactly.
ready.
Exactly.
Even my own self, the healing that I've gone through, people say, well, why haven't you healed yourself? You do this with so many other people, and it's not that easy. And then
No.
when I left this time to come to Hawaii, and I've gone through that transformation of being 260 pounds and a 44-inch waist to where I'm at now, and I couldn't do anything when I got here. But some people know that I get ran over by a cow about 15 years ago, and it just pretty much took me almost to a wheelchair. And so when I got here, I realized I was giving all of my life's force to other people and helping them to be healed. I wasn't saving enough for me.
Right.
So then when I came here, I just focused on me. And within, say, 3 months, I'd lost 60 pounds and 14 inches in my waist.
Wow.
And just going up and down Honolulu, I ended up in Japan. Exactly 30 days, I got on the scale. I was 30 pounds lighter.
The Hawaii diet, we were on that today, trekking around Iao Valley looking for a place to film.
Yeah, it only took us, an hour and a half to find some
2
place that
hours to
felt
find
right.
the right place without the noise.
Yeah,
It was quite a wonderful adventure today.
yeah.
So
I
in the
enjoyed it.
process of all this stuff happening with all these businesses, you're also a prolific author. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your books?
Well, first off, it's like people would ask me, what do you do? I really don't do much for drafts. I wait till everything feels ready in my heart, and then it just kind of flows, and I'll start with a basic outline, and then it's that creative energy, and the last one I wrote was called Never Give Up, which is about my testimony of how I got hurt, and then, I got pneumonia 4 times and almost died. It was very extensive.
Now you wonder why this man is still alive. Reading that book, which I've read,
Yeah,
he's gone through a lot of stuff.
Many
definitely.
nights I didn't know when I was going to wake up the next morning. My whole thing was just, okay, somebody please take care of my kids if I don't.
And he's definitely into natural healing. Doesn't want to go to doctors,
No.
drugs, surgery. No, that's
No,
not happening.
To me, it's there's all the healing and the illness, the sickness that I've learned. There's a spiritual root to it, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to conquer the energy, one, that put me in the situation where I got hurt. Two, like the pneumonia and stuff, I wanted to be able to, by the 4th time, I was able to conquer it to where I don't even feel the scar tissues in my lungs anymore. And then each book that I've written is deeply about the heart and the spiritual journey. The last one is still in editing mode. It's called The Essence of Compassion. Life Without Limitations is about the chakras. The sutras, pure compassion, and there's 6 all. And then I have a book. I started writing poetry back in early 2000, and I lost most of what I wrote because I just had it on paper. And then in 2006, I was able to start writing that again. And so there's a very extensive book on poetry.
And I believe there's some erotic poetry too that's for adults only. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like Aaron's got a astrology chart that's like skewed into Scorpio quite a bit, I understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and
the
I
sun,
believe that
moon.
the romantic part, that passionate part of life is very important to us. And I did separate them into 2 discs though, so nobody's kids will get a hold of the second one. Yeah, but yeah, that's, people want to be afraid of that part of life, the intimacy and the passion and the sensuality. And a lot of religions have kind of put a taboo on it. And I've come to see that it's a very important part of our relationships between our partners. That intimacy and the tenderness and the compassion and the romance. And
So it's like a spiritual take on eroticism to your poetry, perhaps, or
yeah, but to me, it's
I haven't read it, so
very compassionate. It is very erotic, but at the same time, it comes from that place of compassion in my heart, and tying in the passion. It's like I don't really go to the sexuality part, where people are just, it's kind of like a mating process. To me, it's that intimacy of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was looking for someone to share my life with, I said, okay, when I can connect with them, our minds can connect, and our hearts can connect, and our souls. And then, you have that spiritual part. When all of that blends together, and I feel a really good connection with a person in that way, then, okay, then and only then would I be willing to take it to a physical level.
Wow.
Because the rest of it is
That's amazing.
empty
That's
without
such an opposite of our popular culture with the pimps
Free
and the hoes
sexuality.
and everything else that
Yeah.
goes on with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I went through all that in my young days.
Yeah.
Before Hawaii, even after Hawaii, where because I looked at, I have a lot of traits in Scorpio, and it was very passionate, but it was very just sexual back then.
Yeah. Move past the sex, drugs, and rock and roll phase into
Yeah, exactly.
the maturity of modern spiritualism.
Yeah.
So what do you think is your ultimate goal in this lifetime now that you've come this far and moved to Maui, kind of like the best place to be on planet Earth in my opinion? What do you see as your ultimate goal this lifetime?
For me personally, is somebody asked me that question after we met in 2011, and my primary goal is to become the most tender, compassionate, loving human being I can become. Monetarily, I really don't have goals in that way. What I do want to be able to do is go around the world and open healing centers, and that people can actually come and be healed of their emotional and their spiritual, their heart wounds, to where their bodies will heal. Because I've seen that if you take care of the roots, and even maybe past lives, whatever is the true cause of an illness or affliction in somebody's body, then the body follows. Just like me personally, every time I forgave more, every time I opened up more, then my body would get better. And I pretty much feel like I'm like 19 years old again. I'm not as dumb as I was when I was 19.
Very good.
Not quite, a little bit smarter now.
Very good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little brief introduction to Aaron and Aaron Pierson and his work. If you'd like more information on Maui Vision Magazine, go to mauivision.net or visit Aaron's website, which is...
Oh, you'll have to look it up. I can't even remember it. I'm not good with stuff like that.
Google Aaron Pierson and Ocean...
Yeah. Or you can just find me on Facebook under Aaron Pierson. Is the easiest one.
That's the easiest way.
And then this will have a link where they can connect up YouTube and Facebook.
Oh, that's true.
And all
The
that kind of
YouTube
stuff.
will too. So.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, Aaron.
Yeah.
Great to interview you today.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
How are we doing? We stop at 15?
Yeah, we did great. 14
Okay.
minutes. That's great.
Oh. Well,
Very
it
good.
flowed.
It did. And if you want to cut out the part about the erotic stuff, you could just flip to the next question if you want.
No, honestly, that is a place of I really think a place that needs to be addressed in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, the religious community has put such a, even a lot of the Raja Yoga books and things that I'm reading right now saying you have to give up that intimate part and that romantic part of your relationship with your partner, and I totally disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe, you can go be a monk, or you can go be a yogi, and you can separate yourself from everything in life, and that's one path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then if you want to be able to help everybody, then you really have to understand what people are going through in relationships, and so you need to embrace the whole part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but in the relationship, is that sensual and intimate part, the physical part, going to be the focus? No. You still have to have that foundation of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what do you have in your relationship?
That's true.
So, no, I think we did good with everything.